Hi and welcome to the Security Desk Access Control Activity Reporting Seminar. My name is Rafael Morales and I'm going to be your presenter for today. In this seminar we're quickly going to go over some of the reports that we can run on Security Desk against our access control system. We're going to be going into reporting for areas, doors, elevator activity. We're also going to run reports against cardholders and credentials. We're going to go over as well area presence and attendance, and we're going to also be doing some exporting of video and reporting. We have several reports and investigation tasks that we can run in our system. Many of these reports are basically going to report on events that happen on our entities within the system. Some of the examples that we have are access control events, intrusion detection, LPR video, incident reporting, and zone activity. We also know that, or we know that we can run those reports, do our own query against some of the entities within our system, and then run and export those reports against or using the PDF or Excel format. We can also save the queries through the task for later use by us or by another person if we decided to make those reports either a public or private entity. Now, as I mentioned before, we're going to be jumping into our live system very soon, but one of the reports that we can run is called the Area Activity Report. Again, we can have different tasks that we customize with different queries against the entities of our system. We mentioned some of the types of investigations that we have and some of the reports that we can run. If we jump into our Security Desk application operator software, we can run, let's go ahead and run our first area activity report. And most of the activity reports are going to be under the investigation area, I'm just gonna use my search box to look for area activity. I'm just gonna type the word area on the search box, and quickly I see a task called area activity. If I open a task, I can create this task. Let's remember that we can rename the task if we wanted to, and also that we can save this task. Actually, we can't save it now, but we can actually rename the task to something else that we want. If I then click on my area, I only have one area within my system. If I click the area, then I'm going to run the report again against the entity main building. I can also use the filters if I want to run a report on the area just based on the cardholder. In my example, I'm not going to use that filter, but we could, and we can also use the event timestamp. We can use relative time, we can use days, hours, minutes, seconds, weeks, and it's based on our current time. So for example, if we have one day, it's basically the last 24 hours from this point in time. We can also use the absolute time range, and then we can input the date, specific date and time that I want to run the query. In my example, I'm just going to use the relative time of one day, and then I'm going to run my report, and as I can see, I have all the events that happen within this area. It tells me the actual event on the area, where did it happen, and this is the main building area, which side of the door did the event happen, and the cardholder, the first name, last name, picture if I had one, and credential that was used to enter that area. If I now want to run a door activity report to see the events that happen within that entity of the door, I can go back to my home page and look for door activities. So I'm going to run the task called door activities, and the same way that I filter by entities, again I'm working with doors here, I can then select the door that I want to run the report. Again, I have different filters that I can use. if I want to run an event or the report based on the cardholder that I want to look for, or if I just want to run a report on that door for the last one day. I run the report, and again I see all the results that I have here. Now I can go ahead and save this task if I wanted to make it a public task so anybody can run the task. Let me go ahead and save this activity, door activity report, and if I close it, let's just notice that we have check door number 2, and we're using an event timestamp of 1 day. If I now close it and go back to security desk, this should be available under the public task, and there it is. And then I don't have to recreate the door activity report and input the information once more. I actually save that information on this task, and again I can make it available to all the users. So I can create all the different activity reports that I want. I can save them, and every morning I can just open those in the public task without having to recreate them again. Like I mentioned before, some of the door activities that I have, some of the events, on examples of the events will be request to exit. We have access denied, unknown credentials. So if I want to track someone that is using a unknown credential that hasn't been added to the system, that's something that I can use to filter through my activity door report. Schedule unlocked, I can also search for those, and I can filter again through doors, the door size, entry or exit. I can filter using the cardholders or the credentials as well as using the timestamp. This is the example that I gave you before. Based on the results, I can double click on the result, and then if I do have a camera associated to that door, I will bring that video in playback mode here on my task. I do not have an elevator in my system, but we follow the same concept. Once we open the elevator activity task, we can run different reports on the elevators that we have on our system. Look for events for access granted. For example, if we have a building of 10 floors, we can use floor number 5 to see who was given access to this floor, who was access was denied, for example, to the basement. And again, I can run the filter against the different elevators that I have, cardholders, credentials, and time as well. This way will look once I get a report back by running the activity elevator report. Again, we do have another option here to run activities on the cardholder, and some of the examples that I have: access granted, access denied. If I want to see who was denied access within the system, or who is given access to the system. Also, I can filter with cardholders, credentials. If I do have custom fields in the system, I can use the fields to actually narrow down my search, and I can narrow the search based on the area. And again, indoors, as we know, areas are basically a group of doors that I decided to use this area to just group them all, and maybe use the same access rule and apply to all those doors at the same time. So if we go back to security desk and we go to all the tasks, investigation, cardholder activities, we can open our tasks, and now we can again use the different filters that we have. If I want to filter based on an individual, so for example I have Andrew Smith. Oops, sorry, Andrew. I just filter for Smith. I can narrow this search. If I do Andrew, I know I have one Andrew Smith on the system. There it is. I can select, and now I'm going to run this task and filter based on this one car holder. I'm going to select, and I'm just going to run the activity against that one user for the last day. I can run the report, and now I have information on everything that Andrew Smith has done in the past day, because I'm using the relative of one day here. I could filter based on just the area or the door. So if I want to run it against door number 2, I want to track the activities of Andrew through door number 2 for the past day. Run the report, and there they are. I can run it through the whole system. Might take a little while, and there they are. I guess I have another Andrew, so let me just filter based on door number 2 again. That's shorter, and now they have no entry detected on door number 2, and granted was access granted on door number 2 as well. If I try to bash the car on door number 2 for Andrew, and I run the report once more, I should have another access granted Andrew Smith. Going back to our home page, I can also not only run an activity report on the car holder, but I can use an activity report on the credential itself instead of using the car holder. Again, if we go back to investigation, and we're going to run now a report on the credential activities. Come here, open a new window, a new task, and now for example, let's say I want to run a report against car 544. I'm going to filter on this one credential. This is per car. Actually, let me look into car 41. See, there it is. And I'm just going to run the report again using just one day, relative time. And the past day, now I know who's been using, or number one, the information on the car, and where this car has been used throughout the system, and actually who it belongs to as well. Again, I can also use different filters if I just want to narrow down my search. I only want to look for this car when it was used on door number 2, for example, on the last day, and those are the results that I get. Remember that I can then export using a comma delimiter file, Excel, or a PDF. We also have a report called the Area Presence Report, and it's basically being able to view all the car holders in a specific area. I did mention that we can have doors, and those doors are grouped using the entity of an area. If they are, now we can use this report to understand who's in the area that we running the report against. Now, as we have in the note, it's good to understand that we have to be able to be accurate on this report. Physical barrier, for example, a turnstile, have to be in place, or have a door that has a reader in and a reader out, because we need to know who's badged in the area to go in that area or through the door, and at the same time they have to be able to badge on the way out as well, so the report can be of use. If we go to our system, we can then go again to security desk, and let me just use the filter to look for presence, and this is the area presence report. I have one area on my system, and I'm going to then generate a report. There's really nothing here because there's no one inside the area, but let me go ahead and badge Ben Jones in the area. You guys can hear the beep. That was Ben Jones going into the main building. If I now run the report, now we have Ben Jones listed inside the area. If I now use the car for Ben Jones and exit the area through the same door using the other reader on the other side, and now I exit the area, I can run the report once more, and now we see that there's no one in the area. Let me try with a different user. Now we have Andrew. Let's say Benjamin Jones goes in again, and he enters the area. I can run the area presence report once more, and now have 2 people inside. If Andrew decides to exit the area, now I'm going to run the report, and now I only have Ben Jones. Now we also have the time and attendance report, and this is a daily count of how long a cardholder have been spent in different areas. Let's note that this is very similar to the area presence report. Now the times can only be considered accurate if a mechanism to guarantee that each cardholder presents their car on the way out, in and out. So we need to make sure that the person coming in to the area uses the car to go in and go out of the area for the time to be accurate. And again, if we open the report, we can use the same style of filters that we had before. The only difference is now we're going to have different areas which I can use to filter which report to which area I'm going to run it against. We can also have the filter by cardholders, or if we click here on this button, we can then highlight or check all the cardholders available to run the report against. We also have what is called the visit detail report for visitor management. If we're using this feature within the application, we can it can be used in the check-in or check-out times specific visitors. The example will be of a filter will be a check-in time and a check-out time when that person was given a badge, again, to go in, and what time that person checked out of the system as well. We can also use the filters: activation date, expiration date, custom fields, first name and last name. Let's quickly go here in the visit detail report. This is the type of report that I can run: activation date, the last time. If I run the report, I only have 1 visitor on the system right now. Let me run it again. Activation day of 1 day, and there it is. I have an active visitor on my system. In time and attendance, let me clear the different filters. I'm only using the area that I want to run the time and attendance against, and I have 2 people that log in or actually enter the area. I'm sorry, during today, basically yesterday and today. We also mentioned that once we run any of our reports, we have the option to export the report. We click on export, and now we can select the file format that we want to export this document to. We can use Excel, and then we can select the destination folder that we want to export the file to. This is portable document format. We also have CSV file format as well. Also, if we use the Control-Shift-C combination, we see all the different available columns that we have on the left side, and the selected columns that I'm going to use when I export my report. So for example, if I don't want the total time, I can deselect, and now I have, once I export this this report, I'm not going to include the time. So I do Control Shift again. Oops, sorry. Control Shift. Control Shift C. Now I can select the time as well, and that is going to be a column included on our report. Now lastly, let's look into exporting video out of the Security Desk application. If we go, and we're going to be doing this shortly, we're going to go back to a monitoring task. We're going to notice that we have the widgets for exporting video from the selected tile, where I can export the video of all the tiles, all the cameras that I'm currently viewing on my on my monitoring task. We have to select the folder. Once we select the export video, right here on the top we're going to select the folder to export video to. We're going to select the format, either a ASF format or G64, and then we're going to confirm right here on the bottom whether or not the time that we have for start and the end of the export is correct. If I export video in the ASF file, videos will take a little bit longer due to the fact that I got to do a conversion on the video. And most of the media, this file that I'm going to be creating using this format can be played with most of the media players out there, specifically Windows Media Player. Various compressions are available, and it depends and will affect the size of the file itself. The digital watermark is not available compared to the G64 if it is enabled on the archiver. And I can also encrypt the file by adding a password if necessary. Now if I decide to export my video using the G64 format, this will take a little bit longer, I'm sorry, it's going to take less time, and it will retain the same quality of the original video. So it's recommended for quality's sake to use G64. Now only the security desk and the portable archive player can use or can view the G64 video. So we got to make sure that we now, if we're going to be sending this video out to someone and that person doesn't have the security desk application installed, then we can make a copy of the portable archive player during our export of the video. And as well, we can encrypt video if necessary. Be careful to export large amounts of video, because this might take time and take time from the server. But this window we can minimize if necessary during the conversion time. So if I go into my security desk, I'm going to go to security, my home page, and the best way, I know this is a long way, but the best way to look for video, archive video, is opening a video archive task. I'm going to create it. Now I'm going to search for, let's say for example, I'm going to look for video on camera number 1. As soon as I highlight camera number 1, it's going to come up with all the available video on that camera. Okay. And let's say if I select Tuesday and I double click, it's going to bring all the video available for that camera for Tuesday the 24th. Okay. Or if I know the date and time where I want to look for video, I can also use the time range. Again, using relative time, I can use 1 day, which is basically 24 hours from this point back, or I can use the absolute time. So let's see, I'm going to look for video, say on the 23rd, and video between 11 a.m. and 12 a.m. So I know there's video available. So let me go ahead and use the 23rd. That's my date. And then let me change it here as well. And let me look for video between 11:02 and 11:03. Change that to AM. And yes, I can use the keyboard to change it. And let me generate the report. And there it is. That's the video that I did a search against. It's 9:23 between 11:02 and 11:03. So it's basically 1 minute of video. If I double click on the video, it's going to start playing back the video that I searched or I requested. Now how do I export? Like I mentioned before, we have the widgets on the right side for video. I can click on export video, or I have the same button here to export the video. Now I can select the place that I want to export my video to. I can select the format, either G64 or ASF, and I can decide now to transfer the watermarks if I wanted to, and I can verify the date and time. If I export the video, we'll go ahead and export that video. Now let's say I want to open that video that I just exported to my desktop. I can use security desk to open the video, all I got to do is just go back to my home page and look for the video file player. So let's say, for example, this person that you send the video, maybe they don't have a username and password for the application, but they do have Security Desk installed. They do not have a video player. They don't have to log in to the system. They can just click on video file player off the home page without logging in, and they can view the video. So yeah, if I open, now I'm going to look for the video, and number 1, and there it is. I'm going to play the video now. Well, I hope this helps. Thank you for attending the webinar, and I hope the information transfer is useful. Have a good day.